everybody, Roger here with
Jolo,
and this is the first edition of the Drivecast.
Drivecast.
The idea is this is going to be somewhat like a podcast where we discuss F1 and other motorsports and racing topics, and just casually, quote-unquote, drive around in Assetto Corsa. This is mostly prompted by the fact that we don't have a current F1 championship going on right now, and Joe is just dying to talk about this current F1 season.
I have to talk about F1.
So, you better have some interesting things to say.
Yes, I have been told that I am to drive civilly and not be competitive.
Right. I think that makes the statement right there. But no, seriously. We're just going to drive around as if we are literally just paid our toll to get onto the Nürburgring and just going out for a nice drive.
That was an expensive, unknown amount of euros I just paid.
Yes, it was. 40? I think we're going with 40.
Sure, sounds good to me.
Let me turn my whoosh down a little bit here. There we go. So you can...
Oh, you don't want 100% turbo on this track?
Not at the moment, no.
The reason we would be driving slow is even in our F1 series, it gets hard to talk about things because you're so focused on driving and hitting your line.
Especially doing
crashing
this.
and exploding.
This is so much more difficult than the F1 games.
Yeah.
So, what's your first topic?
Well, I don't know, I have 1,000 things. I don't know where to start, though.
I don't know, maybe the first one on your list.
I didn't list them. How do you think the cars are looking this season?
Much better.
compared to last year?
They're still slightly derpy, especially in the nose, but I can at least...
That's just the whole nose height regulation.
I can at least look at them and say, yes, that looks like something that is of this era, and at least somewhat aesthetically pleasing. Especially the Ferrari. The Ferrari is definitely the best looking in the field.
I will agree. I think that one does look the best.
See, that was civil, wasn't it? That was a civil maneuver I just pulled off.
I don't know. I'm way back here just driving casually, so I can't tell.
There's no casual with this car.
I think I've been in 5th gear the whole time.
Alright, I said casually, not grandpa.
I'm still with you.
Oh, you're with him. And let's see, the other, I think we may have even discussed about this a little bit somewhere down the lines, is how terrible the liveries are. I guess that's kind of among the same topic.
Yes.
Honestly, besides, let me think. I kind of like the Sauber, even though everybody hates it.
I think people don't like it because it's kind of plain, but that sort of works with Sauber.
Yeah, and
because they've never had extreme anything.
Right.
They've always kind of been a by the rules of this, by the rules of that. Like aerodynamically, they've never.
But at least it's not gray. It's not silver. It's not just white.
Chrome.
It's at least a color that stands out versus the rest. Like when a Ferrari goes by, you know it's a Ferrari because it's freaking Ferrari red.
Yeah, and you could say, well, Red Bull's this, but then there's Toro Rosso, which is exactly the same. Yeah. So. Is that smoke?
No.
No.
Nothing back there.
No. Yes, I think actually that was the next topic on my list was the liveries.
No.
So.
But still going with the looks, the Toro Rosso is not a bad looking car, and at least in Australia was not a bad performing car. I don't think it will continue. Yeah. For some reason, they always seem to do very well in Australia. Have you noticed that?
Yeah.
It's like they always start the season off like, yeah, we're gonna be out of the mid pack and be awesome, and then nothing.
Yeah. I think they're gonna do a little bit better this season.
Do you think Red Bull is actually in trouble, or are they just throwing a fit for no reason?
I do think Red Bull's in trouble. And you can tell that not just from Red Bull, but every car that's using a Renault engine.
You mean the Toro Rosso and the and the Red Bull?
Toro Rosso and Red Bull. Yeah, and I think with Adrian Newey not having as major a role,
I saw that.
I think it's also affecting their. I saw that. also affecting their aero a bit. Not really affecting it, but it's not as well crafted, I feel.
And
like, it doesn't seem to be as well balanced.
Let's not forget, as much as we kind of have not always had the best things to say about them, they did just lose Sebastian Vettel, who, at minimum, at least probably knew what to tell Red Bull about the car to make it perform so well.
And see, that's the other area that I think is really going to hurt them at this point. Is they got Daniel Ricciardo, who's only in his 4th F1 season, I think.
Right.
And Kvyat, who's only in his 2nd, and I mean, I think other than Verstappen, he's probably the closest guy to diapers on the grid.
Yeah.
But they don't have a lot of time in F1 cars, and they really don't have a lot of time in cars, period.
And they don't have the time in a good car. That's what Vettel brought to the team, I think, is that he knew what car would take him to victory. I don't know. Ricardo might know somewhat about what it takes, but I don't know that either of them are going to be able to provide that kind of info.
Ricardo does seem to have good input in, what you actually can hear in, like, radio messages and things. He does seem to have a good grasp on it, but maybe not as much as someone who's won 4 world championships with a team.
But the thing that kind of negates that argument for me, which is kind of moving on to another topic, is Alonso. Because he certainly knows what car will take him to a championship, and then will promptly leave that car. But he did not necessarily help Ferrari. No. Or he may have, but it was, again, a season too late, because now they seem to be kind of up to speed.
I don't think that's a good analogy there, just because Ferrari is so, up until this whole complete reshake, they aren't really a team that cares what people tell them. They're kind of just going to do their own thing, and that's where you're going to have it.
I feel the nervousness in you now that you're leading. Yep.
I just thought about that. I was like, wait, I don't know which turn's next. Okay. Now we're
I thought maybe I know. I was going to put you on camera for a little bit, but then, nope. I could just, it's like your voice just kind of went, oh God, what am I supposed to do?
I was like, okay, I don't know what I was saying, because there's a turn up here somewhere. Yeah, that's what I meant, by the way, by it's hard to talk and drive at the same time. Yes. Interesting caveat there, or not caveat, segue.
Kvyat is his name.
Kvyat, yeah, sorry. Interesting segue, because my next topic was going to be Vettel. And it seems to me like Vettel has now left his role.
Hey, there's grass out there.
Not his role in. I'm trying to think of how to word it. He's not really the bad boy anymore. He's almost getting to be the good guy.
Which is a little strange, considering he just stepped into the Ferrari, but
yeah.
I think.
But it seems like a lot more people are getting behind him, and it's like, okay,
he's getting older
even
too,
even people who don't like Ferrari, like me,
right,
are just ready to see Ferrari back fighting for podiums and fighting at the front.
I think anyone that has been an F1 fan for any length of time, as I go into the grass and you follow.
Here I go following your line.
Anyone who's been an F1 fan for any length of time knows that Ferrari's success is good for F1.
Yes.
F1 without Ferrari would be a complete tragedy.
Yeah.
No matter what state Ferrari is in at the time. I know there's a lot of controversy with the way Ferrari is being run right now. They're worried about it being turned into some kind of normal pedestrian company.
Yeah.
But still, just having Ferrari in F1 is very important.
Yeah.
So.
And all the changes that they've been making have been positive, it seems.
Right.
At least within the Formula One team. You could probably argue differently about the company itself, but only time will tell what yields that.
Yeah.
So.
if they intend to try and take their road car company and compete with the Porsches and the regular car manufacturers, I think they're going to have a hard time with that, but we'll see.
Yeah. But they are doing better this season, it seems.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
I think they're far ahead of Red Bull now. I think Ricciardo was recently quoted as saying that Ferrari's just too far ahead already at this point in the season, and it's only one race in.
Yeah.
Let's see. Sauber, since you were mentioning that earlier, how do you feel about them this season? They had, in testing, they had crazy speed, and a lot of people were saying, well, is that, I mean, it's just testing. And
yeah. Are they going all out and everybody else is just kind of putzing around, or... They're pretty known for that. I mean, I've been following F1 a little bit longer than you have, and they have these moments that look like brilliance, but I think by mid-season we'll see them kind of settle back down into their role. They always have this tendency to stop developing a car. It's like, okay, look at that, we're mid-packers, I guess we're done. And then that's kind of where they...
Yeah. Last season, they... I wonder if I just threw the coin out the window there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, click the thing there. Yeah, last season they didn't score a point, and then this season both cars scored points, I think, in the first race. So they're already... You and your turbo. They're already well past where they were last season.
Right.
So, but then again, I think only like 13 cars finished that race.
There was a lot of pessimism about that too, about showing that, F1's doomed because so few cars finished the race. That's also a thing that is pretty common.
Yeah.
Especially with newer formulas like we have.
Yeah. Like last year, how many people finished Australia last season? It was
more than this
probably,
year, actually.
probably only a few more. But you had big top names out. I mean, Hamilton and Vettel were out in the first, I think, 5 laps. So this time you had, I think Verstappen. No, not Verstappen. Kvyat was out because of the Renault failure.
And we lost Caterham, and we lost basically Marussia because they didn't take to the grid.
Yeah. So you started with fewer people.
Is Marussia...
And I think that's
Manor,
sort of
on your list of things to talk about?
No.
Okay, well, I guess we'll give them a brief...
Yeah, you can talk about it.
Is it a joke, or what is the purpose of them being there right now?
I don't know.
Question. They have 0 sponsors on the car. It is completely blank.
Yeah.
It's last year's car, which was already slow. The only advantage they might have over last year is that they have the new Ferrari power plant, I assume.
I don't know. I would assume so as well.
I don't see the point of trying to run an F1 team like that. And there is no Jolo in my mirror at all.
No, you just took a hit. You took off. I was driving casually.
I think you were trying to channel your inner manner.
Driving slow. No, I was just laughing because you were mentioning they're only reason on the grid, and I think that the only reason they're there is to give McLaren someone to fight with this season.
Oh, that's not nice. I was talking to my brother this morning, and he was like, "So Honda," and I was like, "Hey, we're doing fine. We beat Ferrari this morning. Sure, it was a Ferrari engine in a last year Marussia, but that's okay."
Yeah, I
don't think they're as screwed as people are thinking they are.
They what?
I don't think they're as screwed as people are thinking they are.
That was a big impact.
Yeah, I was going a little hard there.
No, I just caught, and then it never came back. 900-degree steering, I'm still not used to. Yeah, I don't think it's as bad. I just think that... I have to say, I saw it coming. I mean, whenever they announced, Honda McLaren, I said that's just going to be garbage for the first at least 3 seasons.
Right.
I think it'll take them at least 3 years before they get to where it's a front pack car
I don't think
again.
they'll ever do it before they change the engine package. I don't see this engine package taking us past another 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't see this lasting very long. Now, as a side question, where do you think the next place would go, engine-wise? Going back to 4-cylinder turbos?
I would honestly rather. I would rather they say, all right, you guys go to the 100 or the 1,000 horsepower mark all you want, but you're gonna do it with a 1.4 liter 4-cylinder with no fuel flow. The fuel flow restriction is the dumbest thing.
I don't understand that at all, and I think that's killing F1.
It is, and it is the least important part of reducing F1's impact on the environment. Yeah. That is what baffles me.
Was that their whole reasoning behind it? Was trying to...
They're trying to show that they have green intentions, which I can get behind that for the hybrid stuff. That's cool. That is technology that is actually applying to real-world cars.
Yes.
Restricting fuel flow is simply restricting F1.
And a car that's only run so much, and it's run so efficiently.
Let's not bring up the fact that we're flying these cars around the
Got
world
jumbo jets flying
in
around
Airbuses.
Semi-trucks driving them to and from. You've got all the equipment in the pit lane that they use.
We're flying 6 RVs over there to make some kind of super home.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the engines of the thing we need to restrict our fuel flow on. They're completely missing the point with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you listen to a V6 turbo engine from the early 90s, they sound completely different.
Yeah.
Some of that has to do with how poorly they ran.
Yeah.
Because of early tuning and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But the new engines just sound neutered. That sounds like an engine that is doing things it shouldn't be able to do, which is cool, but it's not innovative. It's just restriction for the point of restriction.
Yeah. And it's... People were complaining about the sound of the engines last year and said, oh, they're not loud enough. It's this, it's that. It sounds bad. We want the V8s back. And the reason it's not loud is not because of the engine package. It's because of the fuel flow.
Right.
Because they're limited to 15,000 RPM, which is 3,000 less than last season.
And they're not even getting near that.
Which is a bit... Well, yeah, because of the fuel flow rate, after 11 grand, the power band just drops completely. So no one's shifting past 11.
Right.
And it's like, you're way underneath what sport bikes are now.
Right.
And, I mean, what is it? An S2000 revs out to 9 or 10.
You're only 2,000 above what a NASCAR V8 runs with its gigantic, bore and stroke.
Yeah.
That's pretty sad.
Of like 5 times the cubic capacity.
Right. Obviously, the power output per liter is a little different, but...
Yeah.
The point stands that if your F1 isn't... Ouch! That was the
360 drift.
That was the perfect time to look in my mirror. I was gonna say that you could take the lead here, but I guess not.
No, you keep going. I'm good following. Your brain works better in multiple areas than mine, I guess. You don't have to think as much about the track.
I don't, because I really do just know this track by the back of my hand. I know that you can go out in the grass right here.
The back's going to wiggle a little, but you're going to get an optimum out turn. Oh, okay.
Hi there. This car makes no power down at 3,000.
Yeah.
It's like an F1 car. I do this every lap. I'm fine. Everything's fine. So, I guess that's subject covered. Let's move on to your next topic.
Okay, let's just move on to the big one. Renault, Red Bull. There's all this talk, and now both have threatened to quit Formula One. Both have threatened to split apart. Renault is rumored to be in talks with Toro Rosso to buy that entire team as its works team. So, what do you think about all that?
I blame Red Bull completely.
Yeah.
Sure, Renault has been behind in the V6 engines since they debuted. That's not questionable. The problem is, instead of saying, okay, what can we do to help, Red Bull has said,
instantly started
why did you
pointing
screw
fingers
us?
Yeah.
That, I just lifted the nose off of the ground on this car,
Yeah.
which is pretty topically appropriate, I guess.
Yeah.
But we'll move on to that later. Yeah, it's an unhealthy relationship now. It will never work. They need to just go their separate ways.
Yeah,
and they will both be better for it. That's my opinion.
The NBC presenters, I watch NBC's coverage. The presenters were mentioning the fact that when you get to where you're publicly making comments, these things should be talked about behind closed doors.
Yeah, this is some NASCAR
but when you're to the point of
here.
making comments out like that, then it's way past the point of no return.
I expect that kind of behavior out of NASCAR teams. I don't expect it out of F1 teams.
Yeah.
It's not healthy for F1. It's not healthy for either team.
And it's not... It really kills someone like Red Bull's legacy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they came in with subpar equipment. They picked up, I think it was Jaguar, right?
Right.
A team that was never really that, teamy. Yeah, picked it up. I mean, their first season was all right. Their second season, they start getting, I think it was their second season that Vettel got the win. Maybe a third. I don't know. But it was a very brief history of being a mid-pack team that they suddenly came to the forefront.
Right.
And became and then that next season, it was just like night and day. 2010, it was all Red Bull, pretty much. So, and then to have an entrance like that into the sport.
We got some company, and somebody that's in a slightly faster vehicle than us, by the way. So.
All right, I will concede the line. Oh, too bad you suck, buddy.
We're gonna catch you.
All right, he's got the power. I'll concede. Yeah. So to have an entrance like that into into Formula One with a name as big as Red Bull, I mean, it's pretty understood that Red Bull's a worldwide phenomenon now.
Right.
To come in like that and then win 4 double championships in a row, and then the next season to go, oh man, our engine supplier sucks. They're screwing us over.
Right.
That's the reason we're losing. Blah, blah, blah. And you can't blame them because a lot of the electrical and stuff that's designed to make the engine work with the car is designed by Red Bull. So, you can't blame it all on Renault.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and the first race pretty much is a testament to that, because look at what Toro Rosso did.
Yeah.
With the same engine. And Newey even said, because on the Sky broadcast, he was asked, he was their presenter of that race. They'd have one of the technical directors of every team will be part of one of the races. So they asked him, like live on camera, do you use all of the same electronics as Jolo Rosso? And he said yes, that they have the same ECU package, they have the same electronic package and everything like that. Okay, so doesn't that just mean that you just admitted that your car is actually at fault here?
Yeah.
And something you've done to install the package of this engine into this car is to blame? He says no, that the Toro Rosso had the same drivability issues. I sure as hell didn't see him.
I did not see it at all. It looked like they were pretty, I'll catch back up in a second.
They looked like that.
Yeah, it was a lot of that. No,
but when you watched, I'm sure you saw the video of Ricardo's start.
Yeah.
And the way the car was hiccuping in, just wouldn't go.
Yeah.
That
coughing and dying.
That's software issues to me. That's somebody did not program that car correctly.
Yeah, because that's all part of the electronic start scenario. I mean,
which I'm sure Renault has a hand in. They're not.
I like that 360. Oh,
I'm sure they don't just provide them the metal engine parts. They also provide them with some of the electronic technologies and such.
Yeah.
But
but they have to work together with some of that stuff too. So
It's certainly not the same situation as a McLaren Mercedes.
Boy, grass on the tires.
We are on a low grip version of the track too, which
Yeah, I know. I feel like we're in like our third lap. I feel like it should be at least a little better now.
yeah, 3 cars running around track
One's a McLaren, come on.
on street tires.
With a McLaren engine as opposed to a Honda engine. Or it'd be back here with me.
Is it the P1? Do they use an actual McLaren engine?
I don't
I
know.
have no idea.
That's a car I haven't really researched or
Not in the
done
least.
any. No. I don't follow cars
All right.
anymore.
I kind of do. But all right, we're like 42 minutes in. So what's your next? What's your next topic?
All right. So part 2. To start part 2 of this episode. Hang on, let me just pull off on the side of the road here. Hamilton versus Nico. We've already seen after the first race, Hamilton dominated. They said that I see a yellow flag somewhere.
I'm waiting for you.
They said I think they said that they got some fuel problems wrong with not fuel problems, but some fuel regulation wrong with Nico, and that kind of slowed him up near the end. I think that's what Mercedes said.
Interesting.
Do you see it going closer this season, or do you see it as a Hamilton runaway?
Yeah, I see it being a runaway, unfortunately. Because he won the championship last year, so instinctively they are going to be putting their eggs into his basket.
Yeah.
Even if they say they're not, you know they are, because in the end they want to win a championship.
Yeah.
And especially if Ferrari is going to be closer this season, they're going to have to. They're going to have to put all their eggs into one basket, or otherwise they're going to possibly lose. Where did you go?
Where did you go? You disappeared.
Oh no. Where were we? Besides hitting the gate on the way out, where were we?
Okay, wasn't paying attention at all. Okay, I think we finished with everything we were currently talking about.
Okay.
I wanted to know your thoughts on Felipe Nasr.
I have virtually no thoughts about him other than his name is way too close to Felipe Massa.
Felipe Massa, yeah.
And it's extremely difficult to tell between the two of them.
Yes.
Especially with the British announcers, because they're all like Massa and Nasser.
Yeah.
Why is this guy in the P1 following us? Why is that guy in the orange M3 flying off the track into the wall?
It's red.
Looks orange in here.
It's red-orange maybe.
It's orange.
I don't know why the P1's following. He's the one that just set the 7-minute lap.
Well, maybe we'll just wait off to the side here for a second.
Nah, he'll just gonna play with us. Come on. Yes, Felipe Nasr is someone who.
Thank you. He's like.
Never mind. It's like he's waiting for you.
Yeah.
Maybe he's a fan.
I have my doubts. Anyway.
Oh, he's coming full speed.
Yeah, he's coming full speed now.
See what you got, boy. See what you got. Yeah, Felipe Nasr is someone who I followed for a while. I feel like I saw him in Indy Lights, but that wouldn't make a lot of sense.
That wouldn't make much sense now.
So maybe it was what's under GP2? GP3?
Yes.
Maybe that's where I saw him.
I had never seen him before. I'd never heard of him.
But I've followed him for a while, and then he moved up to GP2, but he spent a few seasons there. Oh yeah, he's coming.
And he's coming.
It was just like, he spent a few seasons there, and it kind of looked like he was just going to get passed over for Formula One. But he was really good, and I thought he probably should have gotten a shot at Formula One. I didn't realize he had the Bank of Brazil as his sponsor, so
Always
that's probably
something
why
that helps.
he's in Formula One, or at least a good helping hand as to why he's in Formula One. Actually, he did the Rolex race a few years ago. I feel like I should have got an autograph then.
Yeah. I feel like you should stay on the track. I feel like goodbye.
No, it's just a. Oh, I was gonna say it was I was gonna pass you, but.
How'd that work out for you?
We have differing lines at times. You know that.
Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, so I guess you don't know much about him.
No.
I think he belongs, but the thing is, a lot of people are saying the only reason he's in Formula One is because he has the Bank of Brazil, and that's why Sauber has their whole livery is because of his sponsorship.
Right.
Money that he's bringing to the table.
Well.
So a lot of people are classifying him as a pay driver, but
that's F1
I don't know.
anymore.
I think he
did his time though. That's nice.
Yeah, he definitely isn't 16 and,
right.
just got done with karting, so... yeah. So, the last topic, then, I guess we need to talk about is you mentioned something the other day about how the FIA is restructuring the world of sports car racing,
well,
or at least attempting to.
They're trying to redo LMP2. You know that they've been trying to redo LMP2 for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
But now... with the Tudor series and all of them trying to keep LMP2 regulations and all of that, be compliant, FIA is going full F1 on this poor division. So they want to reduce it to 4 chassis, period, that you can choose from.
Wow.
And essentially they want to turn it into a spec series and take out all of the development from it. Isn't good for the American series, especially because we have diversity over here in that series. That is our top series. I don't understand what the prerogative is to make LMP2 a spec racing series. I don't watch sports car racing for the door-to-door competition. Does it happen? Sure.
Yeah.
But I like it because it's not F1. There is some actual cool development going on over there, and even on the small scale. So to neuter that series,
you got a buddy coming up behind you.
He really seems to want to be around us.
I don't know. I'm telling you, maybe he's a fan of yours.
It's pretty disappointing.
What was that?
I don't know. I just saw that orange blob go flying across the mirror again.
I was in like a small slide and I caught it, but then it just went up, complete 180. Yeah, and when you rival it with something like LMP1, which is completely experimental in everything,
right?
And everything is down to specific manufacturers to do all the development, all the testing, and yet still keep within the regulations. And then you get, that's been a series that's been, because it's been Audi dominated for, I think, what, like the last 10 years?
More like 20 now.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Gosh, this guy would just leave me alone. I feel like you.
Yeah. So to go from that to step down to LMP2 and it be like a spec series, I don't understand it.
So the number one...
Unless they're just... The only thing I can think is that they're losing a lot of teams and things. Oh. I think... Oh, no, that was... Never mind. Okay. I think the only thing I can think is that they're starting to lose people.
They say it's money. They say it's too expensive.
And that's what I'm saying, is a lot, unless some people are like, well, it's too expensive to do it, so we're losing people.
If that was the case, why did Honda Performance just go out and build a brand new car for this season?
Yeah.
Why is Lola still developing their car? Why is Mazda dumping buku's amount of money into this Sky Active team? Why is the Rocket Penis still being developed? Why am I spinning and wrecking?
I don't know. Yeah.
Hopefully they got rid of
it's
that
not
guy.
like they're losing unless they're wanting a full field, but that you don't want a full field in a series that has a minimum of four different classes within it. So
the number one theory that I've read has to do with the fact that the FIA and WC and all of them have so much money inside the pockets of the French and European manufacturers of the chassis that they just so happen to be choosing. Which, that's not really the part of it that worries me. The part that worries me is it's probably going to end up being that the Tudor series breaks off again. Because I don't see that format working for the American market.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No.
The number one thing I think they should do is say, okay, our LMP2, our prototypes are going to be just like LMP2 cars. But we're going to have our own prototypes also.
Yeah.
Let there be an experimental, I don't know, call it LMP2X or whatever.
Yeah.
And let all the oddballs be in that. And don't balance the two of them. Let them be their own class. If they're faster than the LMP2s, oh well.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you wanted.
If there's teams that want to compete in both, they have a series for that. I don't think they should be pushing to make this unified LMP2 class the number one class of the Tudor series. To me, that's a huge mistake.
Yeah. Because then you're... yeah, that would just ruin...
And we went through 15 years or so of zero manufacturer interest in prototype racing.
Yeah.
And now we've got Chevy that wants to be involved. We've got Honda that wants to be involved. I've heard rumors that VW had wanted to be involved at some point. There's interest in it again. There's not been that interest in years. It's been the Lolas, it's been the Delaras, and the Coyotes building all of these cars. So that's what Tudor is fighting for. They want there to be some kind of manufactured input into LMP2. I don't think they're ever going to get their way with that.
And I feel like that's... IndyCar, I feel, is moving in a good direction, too. In that instead of just having one chassis, it's beginning steps on a road towards what Formula One used to be.
Right, but god damn are they ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like...
Aerodynamics isn't always pretty, though.
But it seriously
made the pass!
It looks like they said, hey, we should add some more aero to this car. And they were like, yeah, but you can do it in this 2x2 box in front of the wing. So they were like, all right, let's put as many wings in there as we can.
That is what they did. I mean, they regulated them. They said, okay, the side pod, the nose, this, that, all has to remain the same. Basically, you can just sort of change the side scuttles and, you know...
Scuttles.
bounce. You know, put some stuff on, but it has to remain the same chassis, and you have to build around it. But at least they're giving them that. Whereas before it was, you know, okay, we supply the chassis, we supply the aero, and you know, make a motor.
Certainly better. Certainly better.
And it also means that the engine manufacturers have a little bit more input, in that it's not just, you know, we supply a motor for this chassis. It's, you know, we have an aero kit that we're putting on the cars. How can we tune the motor to work best with that aero kit? So it's a little more creative liberty. It's getting there. It's first steps.
But to get back on the subject a little bit,
yes,
the encouraging part of the sports car development going on right now is the fact that GT3 has grown so much, and that IMSA is adopting GT3 next year.
Yes.
Completely. Like, no questions asked. So now we have two really strong GT3 series in America. We have one for sprint racing, which is obviously much cheaper, but a little less prestigious, I guess it would be the term. And we have the endurance series with IMSA. So I didn't think that would ever happen, to be honest. So that's the good part.
I'm glad it happened as well.
That will be interesting.
GT3 racing is huge in Europe.
Right.
So for it to be big here would be, you know, the thing. It's almost like America's finally getting to the development of
I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me.
Smoke.
Nope. Everything's fine.
No? Oh!
So...
ABS may say right there.
I guess that's all I kind of had to say about that.
Yeah.
I had more to say about it weeks ago when it was all kind of breaking news, but now I've long since forgotten about it.
Yeah. Sort of not as important. Not with Formula One back.
Yeah, I guess.
I'm so sad about Formula One.
I am not
It's-
that pessimistic about it.
It's just getting ridiculous.
You are just never going to make this turn.
I did. I thought that was making it. I thought you were supposed to use that gravel on the edge to slow down.
See ya. All right. Well, I guess
Thanks, buddy.
that's all we had to talk about for today. If you enjoyed this strange format of a podcast, let us know.
Well, the next one won't be so long.
Oh, I'm sure it will be. I am sure it will be.
Well,
That's kind of one of
we had
the
a lot
reasons.
of stuff to cover before the season started, and there was the first race. So next it will only be the race. I've already watched qualifying for Malaysia.
I have not,
So-
so that's why we didn't talk about it today.
Yeah. But we will talk about it on the next one after the Malaysian Grand Prix.
And assuming F1 comes out in June like it should, I'd say it will.
We could just pick up there.
Right, we'll just pick up at that point. All right. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Yep.
The hell was that?
Yep.
Okay.